freed slaves. His son threw feces in parliament. His granddaughter became an actress. His great-grandson, a star in historical dramas. 4 generations, 1 legacy. This isn't just a family story. It's Korea's war with itself. A revolutionary father, a gangster son, a legacy buried in silence and reborn on stage. This is Kim Jwa-jin, Kim Du-han, Kim Il-dong, Song Il-gook. The silence, the fist, the echo that still shapes a nation. Kim Du-han was 12 when his father vanished, not in war, but in politics. To Korea, Kim Jwa-jin was a hero. To his son, just a ghost. That absence wasn't quiet. It echoed. It turned a boy into a fighter, a street legend, a political enforcer. He punched rivals. He shouted at traitors. And yes, he once threw feces at corrupt politicians, shocking a nation. The son of a revolutionary became a political gangster. But why? To answer that, we need to go back, not to the man, but to the world he tried to change. Japan annexed Korea. But this wasn't just occupation, it was identity theft. Korean names were banned, language erased, schools taught Japanese history. Farmers lost their land, tombstones were rewritten. The streets smelled of smoke and fear. Japanese police patrolled every corner. It was colonization by deletion. And in that silence, one man chose to fight. Kim Jwa-jin was born into privilege, the elite Eul-dong Kim clan. But at 18, he freed his family's slaves. He gave land to peasants. He walked away from wealth and toward revolution. He trained in Korea's military academy, but refused to serve the empire. His loyalty was to a Korea without masters. In 1920, he led 2,500 Korean fighters against 10,000 Japanese troops at Kingshanli and won. He became a legend, but legends don't fit into systems. He built the Shinmin Autonomous Region. No landlords, no rulers, just shared freedom. That made him dangerous, even to his allies. Ideals are dangerous. In 1930, Kim Jwa-jin was shot by a Korean communist agent, not by an enemy, but a fellow revolutionary. Why? Because he refused hierarchy. He believed freedom couldn't be commanded. For that, he was erased again. No state funeral, no monument, just silence, and a son left behind. Kim Du-han inherited nothing but a name and a wound. Colonial Korea was brutal, streets ruled by gangs, collaborators, and Japanese police. He didn't write manifestos, he threw punches. He led the Jongro gang, defending Korean merchants from collaborators. Violent, reckless, fearless. And in every fight, he imagined he was continuing his father's dream. After liberation, Korea didn't find peace. Politicians hired gangsters to enforce their will, and Kim Du-han became one of them. Not for power, not for money, but to survive, to protect, to impose justice in a lawless world. Du-han entered parliament, but he didn't leave the streets behind. He punched his rivals, he shouted at traitors. Parliament was an uproar, papers flew, voices screamed, and then he threw feces at corrupt officials, a moment so shocking it was whispered about for decades. A son of a revolutionary, punishing his country with literal filth. Yet even in chaos, he spoke of his father. One led with silence, the other with fists, both shaped by war, by loss, by a nation still searching for itself. Du-han had a daughter, Kim Il-dong. She became an actress, then a politician. Her son, Song Il-gook became a star in historical dramas. 4 generations later, the legacy of Kim Jwa-jin lives on, not in ideology, but in memory, in stories, in silence. Kim Jwa-jin dreamed of a Korea without rulers. Kim Du-han fought for a Korea with strength. One built freedom and lost his family. The other fought corruption and lost his innocence. And maybe that's Korea's real story, a nation torn between ideals and survival. History remembers kings, but Korea's most human revolution was led by a man who never wanted to rule and a son who never stopped fighting.